Welcome to today's wild, wonderful word of the day. Expand your vocabulary to expand your mind. Today's word is alliteration. All right, so when I said welcome to today's wonderful something else word of the day, welcome, wonderful word, those all started with W, and that was an example of alliteration. So alliteration is the repetition of the same sounds, usually consonants or consonant clusters. I'll show you an example of a consonant cluster in a minute, especially at the beginning of words. So to simplify that, alliteration is when you have several words in a row or almost in a row that start with the same letter or the same sound. So these are used by poets, writers, songwriters, advertisers even, to create an emphasis or a rhythm. The adjective form is alliterative. So if I said, find 3 alliterative words, I'm saying find 3 words that start with the same letter or the same sound. So an example that is often used in protest is no justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. Now, this is a consonant cluster because even though it's a K, the K and the N make the same sound as the N. So it doesn't have to be the same letter. It's really the same sound, but often that's the same letter. Another one is the power of the people is stronger than the people in power. And by repeating those same sounds, it makes the message a little bit more memorable. So here are some connections. So when we do a literary device, we won't do synonyms or antonyms just because that's more of a term that synonyms and antonyms they don't really have them. Curricular connections, alliteration is a literary term because authors frequently use it to grab the reader's attention. Like I said, it's commonly used in poetry, songs, and advertising. Let's see as we read today if we can see any examples of it. I haven't read it. Well, I have read ahead, but I don't know. Let's see. Steam connections. This is also an artistic device. So anytime that you're trying to use words to grab people's attention, this is something you can do. It's often seen in advertising. And even if you think to like the science fair, and when you set up like your trifold and you come up with like your project name, a lot of times people use alliteration in project names because it makes them memorable. It makes them sound good. All right, some examples. All right, so alliteration is often used on protest signs. And as you most likely know, there are a lot of protests going around recently about Black Lives Matter. And so these are some of the slogans that you might have seen on signs. Like I said, no justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. Now that one's kind of a special one because it has like an extra play on words. But anyway, the power of the people is stronger than the people in power. This one says 90 nasty and not giving up. That was a reaction to Donald Trump and the nasty woman comments he made during the last election. Also, this is a more recent picture that I found, and it says people over property. So this sign is a reaction to people getting angry about like looting, not even looting, I shouldn't have said that. So just like during, there was some property destruction and other things during protests, and some people using that to condemn the whole cause. And this sign is saying people over property, like you should care more about people than property. So that's another example. All right, so you're going to get a turn today to use alliteration. So your discussion question for the week on Classroom asks you to describe yourself in 3 alliterative words. Remember, that's the adjective form. So 3 words that either start with the same letter or the same sound. So Dr. Morgan has dapper, daring, and dependable. And then the next thing I want you to do is once you have your 3 words, think about how those could kind of make you a hero, make you heroic. So Dr. Morgan wrote, if I was a hero, I would be a dapper and luminous dresser. She even threw another D in there. Easily noticeable by anyone as I do my daring tasks to help poor and abused children. These poor and abused children rely on me because I am a dependable hero. All right, I'm impressed. For me, I chose these words and I used a consonant cluster. Mine all start with the same 2 letters. I am creative, crafty, credible. If I was a hero, I would use my creative and crafty creations to teach people about social justice and dismantling systems of oppression. My credibility would lead people to believe me and join me. So, credibility means like trustworthiness. People believe you when you talk. Yeah, so think about that. You have until the end of the day Friday, but think about like what are 3 words to describe you. Make them alliterative. I mean, you can Google it. So let's say you have like 2 words that start with the same letter. Just like Google adjectives that start with this. Be creative about it. Look into lists, figure it out, and then think about how could that make you a hero. And that will tie into a later assignment. All right, so that's our word of the day, alliteration. Wild, wonderful, West Virginia, word of the day. I hope that you feel like your mind has been expanded. Now I have to find the stop button. That's always the hardest part. Can't find it. Still can't find it.